there's nothing that I'm going to say here that's investment advice. This is purely my own thoughts. But I think that there's a lot of uncertainty in the US today and abroad, all around the world, about the legality, let's say, of Ethereum or of Bitcoin and where's it going. And that sort of FUD, I think, always pushes down prices. I think one of the most interesting things is that a large whale can easily move the price around because there's a lot of folks that buy these using leverage. And folks buy it using leverage, they get excited because it moves up 3, 4, 5, 10%. They're leveraged. And then a big whale can put an offer in and see all the prices collapse. And then the big whale sits there on the bid and can accumulate again. And I think that one of the better ways to trade Bitcoin is not to trade it. It's to buy it and to put it in an old lockbox. Because I'm certainly of that view that you're certainly limited in the supply that's going to be out there. The adoption is growing dramatically all around the world. You saw that India just opened up and said, you know what, we're actually going to allow cryptocurrency trading. That's a heck of a population. And I think that as you see more and more countries begin to embrace it as opposed to push it away, then you're going to find more and more interest. And as people adopt it, they buy first $10 worth of Bitcoin, then 50, then 100, then 1,000. And then you start seeing the prices start to move. What I find is if you're going to trade it, when everyone's extremely excited, that's the time to lighten up your portfolio. When everyone's extremely fearful, that's the time to then put the position back on. I'm not sure I'm one of these guys that always says buy the dip. There's a lot of dips to buy. There's some point you run out of money. But I do believe that you can sort of have your own fear versus greed ideal. And if you trade the opposite of where the market is, I think that, you don't think about market timing. I kind of think about, look, the market's way too excited about this right now. It's got to be priced in. Or the market's, way too negative right now. It has to be priced in. I look at it, I guess, the way I trade interest rates. The Fed right now, people are talking about the Fed's decision to raise rates, and we get something like five rate rises priced in. Well, that's the time I'd like to buy fixed income because I feel like it's priced in. Just like I think that a lot of fear was priced into Bitcoin, was trading around that 36,000 level. A lot of fear. And so buying it when the market's fearful, standing in front of the herd, and then when the herd gets excited and starts buying it up again, at some point I'll turn around and say, you know what, it's a little bit frothy. And as opposed to buying more, I'll probably lighten up a little bit, but always have a key position. And I think that that's sort of, how you have to look at it. It's against human nature, but I think that sometimes, a trader has to be a little bit more shrewd than human nature.
You mentioned that you are a hodler of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. You mentioned that, you're not here to give anybody financial advice. That disclaimer is clear. This is just speculation. Looking into 2022 and beyond, what do you think a good weighting for Bitcoin and Ethereum is? I mean, they're different. One's an open source DApp platform, one's hard money. What are you more bullish on?
Well, I see one as being gold that I don't spend, and the other one being a currency that I think everyone's going to want to spend. So it's like hoarding gas or creating my own strategic petroleum reserve, like the U.S. government has. And that's what I see hodling Ethereum as. I think that Ethereum rails are going to be very, very successful in the future, as much as they are today. And I think that as you move into ETH 2.0, that's going to be even more the case. So I'm sort of building up my strategic petroleum reserve by hodling Ethereum. Whereas Bitcoin I see as being sort of it's a lifeline for wealth, in that you can buy real estate if you can afford it. You could buy a Monet painting if you can afford it. But when there's inflation, you got to buy something that you believe is going to rise in an inflationary background. And right now I see Bitcoin as being something like that, where by holding it, I'm sort of defending myself against inflation and against debasement.
So right now you're tipped over a little bit Ethereum, it sounds like.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say I'm probably 50-50.
All right.
Very nice.
No Cardano? That's odd.
No Cardano. Look, I get pitched a lot of coins every day. I think we all do, right? I mean, I just look on your Twitter feed today when you said any questions for Douglas, you've been pitched about 300 different tokens. So there's lots of people that pitch their tokens that have a different reasoning for why we should own it. Now, I have to take that noise and just put blinkers on, and I concentrate on the INEX token. And then on a personal level, I concentrate on Bitcoin and Ethereum on top of that. But otherwise, there's so many coins and there's only so little time in the day to say, okay, well, I think this one's good or that one's good. I see lots of different positives and negatives in different coins, but I'm not here to discuss those.
Fun game. What do you think?
2030?
Yeah.
I'd say 2030. So we're talking about I'm not very good at math. 8 years. 8 years from now. I could certainly see $500,000 for Bitcoin, maybe $25,000 for Ethereum. But again, things change quickly in this universe. And maybe in the next 20 years, there's a supercomputer that turns around and says, look, we can solve all of this quickly.